thought is the ink with which your body is painted. This is not just a poetic metaphor, it is the most transformative truth you can understand about yourself. If you feel your body carries marks from the past, pains that do not go away, signs of accelerated aging, or health patterns that seem unchangeable, get ready. Today, through Seth's teachings, you will discover how your mind not only influences, but literally redraws your body cell by cell. Imagine looking in the mirror and realizing that your appearance, vitality, and energy are not a fixed result of genetics, but of invisible patterns you can rewrite yourself. This is not a video of vague hope. It is a practical and profound map to transform from the inside out everything you are. Perhaps you have felt that no matter how much you try to change habits, something deeper seems to keep your body in the same pattern, as if an invisible imprint were engraved in your physical structure. And that is exactly what happens. A mental and emotional matrix that guides every reaction, every cell, every regeneration in your body. Seth shows us that it is not about fighting this matrix, it is about redesigning it. And if you want to anchor this decision now, write in the comments, "I choose to rewrite my reality." This is more than a phrase. It is a signal sent to the field that will begin to reorganize everything around you and to keep receiving content that deepens this path. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on the notification bell, so every new video will be another step in your transformation. Today, you will learn not only why this is possible, but how to start right now. There is a moment so brief that, to the mind, it seems non-existent. Seth describes this instant as the minimal fracture between the now and the next now, and it is in this invisible space that reality is real. Think of your body and life as a movie, but not a continuous reel. They are individual frames passing so fast your eyes cannot detect the change. Each frame is shaped by your internal state, and this includes your subtlest beliefs, emotions, and thoughts. Here lies the real power. If the internal state changes, the next frame does not need to be a continuation of the previous one. And when we talk about the body, this means that even physiological functions, healing processes, and regeneration can change in this microspace. The key is to realize that control is not in the macro visible actions, but in the micro vibrational choices made each instant. Most people live without awareness of this mechanism. They believe that physical change requires weeks, months, or years of accumulated effort, and ignore that. In reality, every second is an opportunity for a leap. This lack of perception keeps the same patterns imprinted in the body because internal states repeat like a mold that has never changed. It is like trying to print a new image using the same old template. The result will always be the same. Seth says that this ignorance is not a personal flaw, but a cultural conditioning that trains us to seek change only in the external world. This conditioning blinds us to the real leverage point, the invisible instant between one frame and another. When you begin to observe this space, something curious happens. You realize your body responds faster than you imagined. Small mental posture shifts, like replacing a feeling of tension with a deep breath, already begin to alter internal signals. It is as if every cell were waiting for the next command to know how to behave. In this sense, the body is not the engine of change, but the reflection. The mind holds the brush, and the emotions are the ink. What you feel now is the palette that will paint the next physical frame. And if that palette is intentionally chosen, the art that emerges can be radically different from the one you have been repeating. But pay attention. The transition does not have to be dramatic to be real. The conditioned mind looks for big signs, pain disappearing overnight, appearance changing visibly to believe that something has shifted. However, Seth reminds us that the most powerful changes begin subtly. A weight in the body that lessens, a fatigue that no longer appears, a sense of lightness upon waking. These are signs that the vibrational matrix has been adjusted and is redrawing the body from the inside out. By recognizing these subtle, you accelerate the process because you reinforce to the field the information that the change is already happening. The invisible instant where everything changes is your greatest power, but it requires presence. Without presence, you recreate the old without realizing it. With presence, you have the chance to choose again, frame after frame. This is not a distant or overly philosophical concept. It is the practical reality of how each cell receives instructions. And from the moment you take ownership of this, you realize you are not at the mercy of habits, genetics, or age. You are the artist of your own body, and every second is a new canvas waiting for the next brush. Your emotional and mental frequency works like a silent command that shapes not only external events, but also your body's internal reactions. Seth teaches that vibration is the language the quantum field understands, and each emotion is a precise instruction. Joy, gratitude, and love communicate expansion, regeneration, and balance. Fear, resentment, and frustration communicate contraction, wear, and instability. The body, as the physical manifestation of your vibrational state, faithfully responds to each command. It does not judge, it does not question, it simply translates into chemistry, hormones, and functioning patterns, whatever the mind and heart emit. Imagine each emotion as a color on a painter's palette. If most of your day is painted with dark tones, the resulting picture will reflect exactly that, and the body is sensitive to these colors because each emotion is accompanied by specific biochemical reactions. Elevated emotions strengthen the immune system, regulate blood pressure, and stimulate cellular regeneration. Heavy emotions weaken defenses, inflame tissues, and accelerate degenerative processes. This is not just spiritual poetry, it is applied science. Studies in psychoneuroimmunology have already proven the direct link between emotional states and physiological response. The problem is that many people believe they cannot control their own vibration. They think emotions are inevitable reactions to circumstances, when in fact they can be conscious choices. Seth emphasizes that it is not about denying what you feel, but about becoming the conductor of your own internal orchestra. You can recognize a heavy emotion and still choose not to remain in it. This repeated decision creates new neural pathways, and over time, a new vibrational pattern becomes natural. And each new pattern shapes the next frame of your life and your body. When you begin to intentionally alter your vibration, you notice that certain situations that once drained your energy no longer affect you the same way. The body responds with more vitality, sleep deepens, pains lessen. It is as if, with each new vibrational choice, you are updating the software that commands the physical hardware. The change may be gradual, but it is cumulative and consistent. Every moment you maintain a higher vibration is a new frame, a fragment of reality in which your body is receiving new operating instructions. The secret is to understand that this creation is continuous and immediate. There's no waiting. There is no processing queue in the universe. What you feel now is the seed of what you will live and of what your body will be in the next moment. The vibration you maintain is the invisible mold that is constantly being filled by matter. And that is why Seth says, change the mold and the body will inevitably follow. The human brain is a master at creating the illusion of continuity. It edits experiences so that life feels like a linear narrative without abrupt cuts, even when deep changes have already taken place. This means that often you have already jumped into a new vibrational reality, and the body has already begun to respond to that leap. But your mind insists on telling the story as if nothing has changed. It is a safety mechanism designed to avoid perception shocks, but it can also delay full awareness of the transformation. This mechanism makes you ignore or underestimate subtle signs of change. A pain that has disappeared, unexpected energy upon waking, a sense of physical or mental lightness. Small synchronicities and physiological adjustments go unnoticed because the mind looks for big proof before accepting that something real has happened. But Seth insists, it is precisely these discrete signs that indicate the new reality line has already been activated. The body always gives clues before any change becomes visible in the mirror or in medical tests. The challenge is not to rationalize these changes when you notice an improvement and immediately think it must be coincidence. You are sending the field a signal of disbelief that weakens the new configuration. It is as if the body were trying to follow new instructions, and you, with your mind, undid part of the work. Recognizing each sign, no matter how small, is reinforcing the new vibrational pattern. This speeds up the transition and solidifies the new reality. Another reason you do not notice a leap is that when the change consolidates, it begins to feel natural. What once seemed impossible is now your standard state, and the mind quickly forgets the previous discomfort. It's like moving into a new home, and after a few days, no longer remembering what it was like to live in the old one. The change stops being perceived as change and becomes simply life as it is. That is why Seth recommends cultivating conscious records. Write down sensations, improvements, emotional and physical states throughout the process. This trains the mind to recognize and value each leap, no matter how small it seems. This appreciation is not just psychological, it is vibrational. The more attention you give to the new, the more energy you invest in it, and the faster it strengthens until it becomes unshakable. To consciously trigger a reality leap and see your body visibly respond, the first step is to understand that it is not a fixed block, but a living reflection of the frequencies you maintain. Each thought generates electrical impulses that travel through the nervous system, and each emotion releases specific chemistry that shapes the internal environment. When this chemistry is repeated daily, the body learns to live in it, adjusting metabolism, hormones, and even the way cells regenerate. Changing this internal environment is like changing the blueprint of a building. The physical form inevitably begins to follow the new plan. The most common mistake is trying to change only on the physical side: diet, exercise, treatments, while keeping the same mental and emotional pattern. This is like trying to paint a damp wall. The paint will not stick because the base remains the same. The leap begins when you create coherence between mind, emotion, and body, as if all were playing the same music. A simple way to start is to sit in silence, breathe deeply, and focus on the center of the chest, evoking a real sensation of already being in the body you desire. By feeling this as present, the body receives immediate instructions to align with that version. Another powerful path is to mentally live daily situations as if you were already the person you want to become walking. Climbing stairs, talking to someone, looking in the mirror, all in imagination, but using the body and energy of that new identity. The brain does not distinguish between what is physically lived and what is vividly experienced in the mind. It fires the same signals and begins to reconfigure the neural network according to that experience. By repeating this, you create an internal rehearsal that the body begins to execute automatically. It is also essential to choose in your daily life emotions that reinforce the body you want, not the one you want to leave behind. If you seek vitality, look for moments to feel enthusiasm, even in small doses. If you seek healing, focus on the parts of your body that already work well and amplify the sense of well-being they bring. Directing attention this way is like watering the right plant. You strengthen what you want to see grow. Small gestures, like consciously smiling or stretching with pleasure, send clear signals to the field that this is the new reality to be sustained. The most important thing is to understand that every instant is an opportunity to change the next frame. When you notice you are returning to an old emotional pattern, you can immediately interrupt the cycle with conscious breathing, a positive memory, or a powerful mental image. These micro choices, repeated many times a day, create an accumulation of coherent signals that force the reorganization of the body and life. And when coherence becomes more frequent than the old pattern, the leap stops being a possibility and becomes inevitable. Recognition is the invisible glue that fixes a vibrational change into matter. When you notice that something is already different and validate that transformation, you send the body and the field the message: this is what we want. Keep it this way. The mind, however, has been trained to look for what is missing instead of what has already changed. And that is why many people miss the crucial moment of consolidation. Maintaining the new reality line begins with the daily habit of noticing small victories, a discomfort that eased, extra energy upon waking, greater mental clarity, and celebrating them as undeniable signs that the body is already responding. This celebration does not need to be exaggerated, but it must be deeply felt. By closing your eyes and breathing in gratitude for what is already different, you reinforce in the body the chemistry of that new state. It is like installing a new program and clicking Save Changes. The body responds by locking in the received instructions, adjusting hormones, cellular processes, and even the immune system to sustain this configuration. The more often you activate this chemistry of conscious gratitude, the more it becomes your natural pattern. Another essential point is to act as if you are already fully living this new reality. This is not pretending, it is vibrational training. It means choosing clothes, postures, foods, and activities consistent with the identity you wish to maintain. If you already consider yourself healthy and vital, your daily decisions will naturally reflect that, and each coherent choice sends yet another command for the body to keep operating in that pattern. The secret is to make these choices so automatic that living as the new you becomes as natural as breathing. It is also important to understand that maintaining the new reality line does not mean never again feeling old emotions. Memories and past sensations may arise, but this is not regression. It is simply the system checking if you still prefer the new path. When this happens, use it as an opportunity to reaffirm your choice. Take a deep breath, bring to mind the feeling of your new state, and allow the body to remember what it is like to be there. Each quick return to alignment weakens the old pattern until it no longer has the strength to manifest. Finally, Turn alignment into a lifestyle. Upon waking, connect with the version you want to keep alive in your body. During the day, revisit that feeling whenever you can, even if only for a few seconds. Before sleeping, give thanks for every piece of evidence, big or small, that you are on this new path. By repeating this, you not only maintain the new reality line, you reinforce it daily, until it becomes impossible to imagine yourself living any other way. And it is at this point that transformation stops being an effort and becomes your nature. If this message touched something inside you, understand it was no accident that you arrived here. You are already vibrating at the frequency of transformation, and now is the time to decide to remain in it. So, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to keep receiving content that will reinforce this new state every day. And to anchor this choice in the field right now, write in the comments, I choose to rewrite my reality. This is more than a phrase. It is your yes to your body, your mind, and the life you know you deserve to live. The next frame of your story begins right now.